Gambia was set up purely for football. It was all about developing football in the Gambia. It has evolved so much since 2009 up until this point, and we now engage a lot with the locals and we do a lot of development work, and football's kind of taken a back seat now. It's the first time I've been to any country, first time in Africa, and felt comfortable immediately. It didn't feel like I'd come here for the first time, it's almost like I'd come home. The first person I met was Alex. Alex has spent so much time with me since 2009 that there's a lot of trust that has been built up. Things don't stop when I leave, so he makes sure that any project continuously keeps going.
For when I first met Ian, straight I know he's a good person. Definitely, Ian is a good person and a good friend of mine, and then for the whole country of the Gambia.
The guy's just amazing, and to this day he hasn't asked me for anything, which it gives me a lot. I've got a lot of respect for him. On my second trip, I met a young gentleman called Moses. He took me to Sitanunku for the first time. If it wasn't for Alex and Moses, we wouldn't be here talking today. I've got to say I was really shocked by the levels of poverty. You know, you had kids that had pretty much no shirts on their backs. The same with shorts, some of them didn't even have shorts. They had plastic bags that were all rolled up, which they used as footballs. We talk about boots, there were no boots, there was no sandals, there was no nothing, it was just bare feet. Really shocking. I instantly thought, well, there's something we can definitely do about it, knowing how wasteful we are in the UK. And then I just thought, well, at least we can start sending over some shirts, we can send over some boots, socks at least, because they play football in socks when they do have them. And that was it. You know, it's kind of going back and knowing that you can make a change or change someone's life in some way, shape or form.
Ian and I were at a mutual friend's wedding. We were staying in the same apartment. We were talking about his recent trip to the Gambia. And he started to, I mean, you could see it in his eyes as he was starting to speak about it. It was his body language was different. It was not the Ian Stapleton I know and love. It was a new one who I also know and love. But yeah, it was quite. He affected me by the way that he was talking. He wanted me to get involved, and there was no way that I could say no. Just after listening to the way that he had described what he'd seen and what he wanted to do.
Well, setting up the charity wasn't easy, but it was definitely worth it. When you look around and you go and speak to the local people here, you speak to anyone about Football Gambia and the developments that we've done here, everyone is so happy. It makes life easy for the locals. The first Football Gambia trip was very difficult. It was very exciting. I was going into the unknown.
The first trip was basically a football tour, spreading kind of the word of Football Gambia, trying to get to meet as many people as we could.
Again, you touch the ball out your feet because it's not a free kick. I'm going to touch out my feet, I play it to you, yeah, you come towards me, I walk out.
First trip really was a bit, I would say, it was a bit up in the air. No one knew what to expect. I think we played about 10 games in the first week.
It was hard. It wasn't planned out as well as we would like to have planned it out, but it was only me that knew about Gambia, no one else knew about it. Well, the second year was very interesting. We had a few people that had come on, the likes of Nicole, Lizzie, Louisa.
3 years ago I became involved with Football Gambia. I was immediately drawn by the education side of what the charity is looking to achieve. Had a conversation with Ian, taken aback by his passion and desire to have an impact in the Gambia, and it all stemmed from there.
I got started with Football Gambia 3 years ago through Nicole. She was talking about coming over here, said it would be great, and that's why now this is my third year, and I've loved it.
The aims of the trip were to focus on teaching, child protection, first aid, and football coaching.
It's never really been driven in a certain direction. We seem to meet people that can do things and meet people that want stuff, and it evolves from there. And there was a million and one things we could be doing which were more, certainly not more important than football, but more of a direct impact kind of charity thing. So it went away from being a football tour to being more of a charity expedition.
I think when you first come to Gambia, you have expectations and then what actually happens is above and beyond. It's very humbling. You meet a lot of people who are very happy to be alive and are engaging in their communities, and actually being able to come and give some skills and knowledge which will have a long-lasting impact on people's lives there's no way to describe it. You can see videos, you can see pictures, but actually being here on the grassroots level and having that impact with individuals is, yeah, life-changing.
Well, this year's been great because we've had previous people that have been on the trip. We were able to plan prior to the trip. So we've got an experienced plumber who was able to focus on the vegetable garden. We've got a solar power engineer who's put the solar power system on the medical centre. We have a chicken expert. They've been able to build a chicken hutch. We've got a big chicken house here as well. And within all of this, we've been able to train up the local village members, so it's easier for them to maintain this whilst we're here.
The year previous, we had some sponsorship money that was earmarked for projects. It didn't get used, so we had a good long think about what we could do, and we decided on irrigation for the market garden that was done the year previously, and the year previous to that. Solar panel to give some lighting for the medical centre. The rainwater harvesting system that went round the medical centre to collect water during rainy season.
One of my friends, Corey, asked me about 8 months ago if I wanted to come and build adventure playgrounds. I was chatting with Ian, the organiser, and then as never do my life does, starts evolving around chickens. Started chatting about chickens, my expertise of chickens, and Ian asked if I come out for 2 weeks, build a chicken hutch, chicken run, teach the locals about chickens, how to look after them, better medicines, and simple practical ways to keep them nice and healthy.
I think, and Ian may disagree with me, I love an organised approach. So I think clarity and organisation is key, especially with this number of people. So we come with very clear aims and objectives as to what we want to achieve, and the only way of doing that is to have planned adequately and to ensure that everybody's clear on what we'll be doing.
From basically going from a football tour to taking on the projects and the amount of advancement that goes on within the projects each time that we come, you bring 65 people over, you're going to make a serious dent in anything that it is you're trying to do. The skilled labourers that we've got involved now, this is becoming a pretty serious camp. We've got running showers, for God's sake.
I think 3 years on now,
Might break it.
The projects have changed, what's been done to Sitanunku, and seeing that, especially this year with the adventure playground.
We started working with the village and we went into an area which is just behind the medical centre, started clearing the area. We've now erected a tightrope along with a swing. We've got a climbing wall. We've got some basket hoops as well that we're going to put up. So there's a number of different things, and we're using natural materials. And the children here have already road tested it and they love it. Well, what's really good this time is that we go into the schools. We work with the teachers and we work with the pupils. So it's not a case of we have these teaching plans, we go into the schools and say this is how to deliver it. We try and mirror as much as we can. So it's a case of what we can put in and what they can take out and vice versa. So it's a two-way kind of learning process. We have these big fun days. We have 25 qualified play teachers and coaches. We work with over 200, 250 kids all at the same time, and it's a really fun environment. And you know, it's not just about the laughing and joking. There's stuff that you learn. There's a lot of jumping. There's testing out agility. There's mental skills and all of that are all incorporated within these fun days. But they are really great.
I mean, Football Gambia makes it sound like we come out and play football and that's all there is to it. Whereas actually, it's looking at sustaining communities on a long-term basis. So whether that's the medical centre, the agricultural area, digging a well, developing education here, there are so many aspects which every member of the community will be impacted by as a result of the volunteering that we do.
People are starting to notice us, and more villagers will start to know that we're around. So it's, from what we did the first time to what we're doing now is pretty much a universe.
I think that we've achieved more this year than we ever have done. When I'm here, it's almost like I always want to be here. It almost feels like home.
I was really looking forward to coming out here as a couple because we'd never been here and we didn't know what to expect, and
Both
you know, it's
nervous.
just nervous but really excited at the same time. We'll be out here next year, the year after. We want to carry on coming.
In the UK we're very materialistic, and the things that we focus on aren't actually what we should be. There's much more around people, interactions, communities, happiness that we can learn from these people. So whilst we come here to give our skills and knowledge, I think everybody takes away a piece of the Gambia.
I think the minimum anybody takes away from here is a respect for life, you know, an understanding and appreciation of what you've got.
So building something as simple as that, using a plastic bottle, gives me more satisfaction than putting a brand new 3-piece suite in.
I actually defy anybody to not come away from this trip and not be more compassionate, understanding and more willing to help other people.
Welcome to Gambia, smiling coast of Africa. Enjoy yourself, enjoy your life, enjoy your journey. Smiling coast of Africa, everybody happy, everybody nice. Boss man and boss lady, how are you there? Are you feeling alright? Oh, welcome to Gambia, Lame. Hey!
Staying in a hotel and being in the tourist areas and going to pubs and bars and having loads of lights and all that sort of stuff, that isn't real life for as I know it in Gambia. Coming out to the village, embracing the culture, knowing that you've got no lights, you've got no electricity, you struggle to get water here, but people are the friendliest ever. You see people just laughing and joking, you see the kids running around free. You know, you're talking about people that haven't got that much. There's no mobile phones, there's no electricity, there's no radios, there's no TVs. There's all of this stuff that we always take for granted, but we're not happy in the UK. The majority of us aren't. But here, you've got freeness, you've got freedom, and that in itself is happy.